Hello, welcome back to my channel. In the previous video, we talked about how to interpret fictions. And now I would like to continue the discussion on how to analyze characters and characterization. We start first with characters. What are characters? Characters are the people in narrative, and characterization is the author's presentations and development of the traits of characters. Remember, characters are the people, and characterization is how the author presents and develops the traits of characters. There are many terms that can be used to define characters. Let's start first with flat and round characters. Actually, there are two broad categories of characters development, namely simple and complex. Forster in Griffith 2006 coined alternate terms for these same categories, that is, simple for flat and round for complex character. I still use Kelly Griffith's book, Writing Essays About Literature, in my explanation here. Alright, flat characters. Flat characters have only one or two personality traits and are easily recognizable as stereotypes. For example, the shrewish wife, the lazy husband, the egomaniac, and the absent-minded professor. How about round characters? Round characters have multiple personality traits and therefore resemble real people. They are much harder to understand and describe than flat characters. No single descriptions or interpretations can fully contain them. Examples of round character in English literature is, for example, the character of Hamlet of William Shakespeare. Hamlet is a type, the melancholy man. But round characters have more traits than just those associated with general type. It is interesting to note that because it takes time to develop round characters convincingly, they are more often found in longer works than in shorter ones. Alright, now static and dynamic characters. Characters who remain the same throughout a work are static. Meanwhile, those who change are dynamic characters. Usually, round characters change and flat characters remain the same, but not always. Dynamic characters, especially main characters, typically grow in understanding. Okay, what else? What are the other terms for characters? How about protagonist and antagonist? These two terms are closely related to conflict, the existence of conflict in the story. The forces in conflict are usually embodied by characters, the most relevant being the protagonist and the antagonist. The term protagonist and the antagonist also as someone who fights for something. The antagonist is the opponent of the protagonist, while the antagonist is usually a person, but can also be non-human force or even an aspect of protagonist, his or her tendency to an evil and self-destruction. Moving on, we talk about characterization. In general, an author presents the characters through direct and indirect revelation. Authors reveal what characters are like in two ways, namely directly and indirectly. Indirect method, the narrator tells the reader what characters is like. In indirect ways, authors show us rather than tell us what characters are like through dialogue, external details, and characters' thought, speech, and deeds. Alright, those are the explanations about characters and characterization. Now I would like to summarize these presentations by showing you how to write paper about characterization. What aspects or what steps that you need to consider. Number one, remember to list the traits of the main characters in the story. Second one, describe the ways the author reveals traits of a character. 3. Write a description of a complex character. You have to explain what makes the character complex. And number 4, describe the emotional reaction a character has to an important event or events. Number 5, you can write a paragraph explaining how and why a character changes. Next, after all those processes, number 6, you have to describe the scene in which a character has an epiphany. Explain what happens and what the character comes to see. Next, mark the places in which the narrator or characters make revealing statements about a character. And number 8, the last one, show how the author represents characters' thought. Write a paragraph that describes a character's inner life. Those 8 steps are based on Griffith's book, Writing Essays about Literature, especially in the discussions of interpreting fictions. That is all for now. I hope my presentations or our discussion benefits you in enhancing your understanding on how to analyze fictions. I hope to see you again in the next videos and enjoy your day. Bye bye.